Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Angel Cepeda. I'm a board member of Voices for Truth and Humanity. Welcome to our 4th annual gala. We are excited to share with you all the things that have transpired during this year and how this organization has moved the mission forward. And so we're really super happy to have you guys with us this evening. We're going to take this program a little bit out of order because we want to also, some of our guest speakers also have other events, and so they are doing double duty. So we're going to kind of take this out of order just a little bit. First, let me recognize some of the folks that we feel are the most important here tonight. And we have a number of Holocaust survivors with us. As you know, our mission is to put Holocaust education into public schools across the nation. And so we are honored to have a number of Holocaust survivors here with us. So I'd like to ask them to please stand if they can, or just raise their hand if they can hear me. All right. I know we have some here. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize my fellow board members. If you're a board member to Voices for Truth and Humanity, please stand and be recognized as well. Thank you. It's my distinct honor to ask Roger Tillis, New York State Regent Roger Tillis, to come up to the podium. Yes, absolutely. Either way, he has been a staunch supporter of our organization from the very start. And as New York State Regent, he has great deal of influence over education and what transpires here in New York State. So it's my honor to have him come up and say a few words to us. Roger, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. I apologize for having to disrupt things, but I have to host something at the Till Center tonight. Lin-Manuel Miranda is there, so it's either that or I have to have a duel with him. I'm not going to do that. The brain is a wonderful thing, and it starts to work when you're born, and it ceases to work as soon as you get up to give a speech. So I'm not going to prolong anything here. I really wanted to give credit to the Voices, and to Jack Britvan especially. Jack and I used to be sometimes negotiating across the table when I was in real estate. And it's so much more pleasant with him charging ahead on the issue of Holocaust education, and being on his side is a much better way of doing it. But no one has been more aggressive and more fulfilling in what he does than Jack. So I give Jack a lot of credit, Jack Britvan. When Jack and I started talking about this years ago, and there wasn't a whole lot being done. As a regent now in my 19th year, we give out awards every year for Holocaust education, the best Holocaust educators in New York State. And we give out what's called the Yavner Award. And it's amazing the kinds of things that people are doing creatively to teach Holocaust education. And I knew that that was happening. The problem was, and New York State has a mandate for teaching Holocaust education. I was wondering what the other schools and the other teachers are doing to teach Holocaust education. And we did a survey after Jack and this group led Anna Kaplan to put a bill in that was passed by the legislature that asked every school district to let us know what they were doing for Holocaust education. all it says in the law is that you teach Holocaust education. What we found out was that some districts were teaching 5 minutes and others were teaching 5 months. And with the disparity was great, and you can tell as to what's going on in our schools nowadays. The incidences of intolerance and bigotry have gone way up. And I think the lack of Holocaust education is one of the factors that is in many of our schools. The combination of that and the social emotional problems that students are having at schools is causing tremendous amounts of disruption in schools. So what is going to happen? Kathy Hochul last week said that there will be $4 million that she is allocating for anti-Semitism studies and trying to alleviate anti-Semitism in different areas of the state. I immediately contacted our Commissioner of Education and said, we want some of that. We, meaning the Board of Regents and the State Education Department, because I want to see, and I think this group has really put the seeds in me to see a panel, as New Jersey has, to take the best practices of Holocaust education and make it available for every school district across the state. Until we do that, until we have districts that really do Holocaust education and not do just a periphery job of it, we're not going to really get to where we need to get to. I think we're going to get there. The commissioner has had a discussion now this week with the governor about using some of those funds to set up a commission to develop best practices for Holocaust education. This is a long way from when this group was formed. And I think New York is making great strides in doing that. And a lot of it has to do with the support that you give and the Voices of Truth and Humanity to Holocaust education. Nothing is more important, in my opinion, and I think in most of your opinions, than doing that. So I just wanted to give you that status and heads up. And I think any time you have an opportunity to talk to legislators or the governor about setting up this commission is very important, so that all the kids in all the schools in New York State will have the proper kind of Holocaust education. With that, I wish you B'tei Avon. Thanks.
Roger, wait up. No, I'm not going to hit you with it. Stay there. Yeah.
He hit it out of the park.
Yes, it did, and you normally do too in the back.
Roger, thank you for going to bat for us. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Please, another hand for Roger Tillis. Now it's my distinct pleasure to call up the commander of New York State Jewish War Veterans, Gary Glick.
Thank you. Jewish War Veterans will advance the colors. Please stand if you can.
Color guard. Halt. Left. Face.
Now the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah.
Arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So,
Oh, say, can you see my by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs were singing, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Retire colors.
Left face. And right face. Forward march.
Okay, now, please be seated. Now I have the distinct honor of two young gentlemen back there who are JWV members, who one is 100 years old and the other one is 101 years old, our two centurions at our table. Murray! Okay. Murray. Stand. Okay, all right, okay. And your father-in-law also? All right. There we go. We have a special for the two of them.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be with all of you this evening. As some of you know, maybe most of you may know, that the Hebrew word for truth, the word emet, is composed of 3 letters. And those 3 letters happen to be the first, the middle, and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Aleph-Bet. First, middle, and last, emet. And that fact signals to us that truth must be spoken from the widest possible spectrum of people. First, middle, last. People all together must create a chorus of truth. Tonight, all of us here come together to speak and to endorse the importance of truth. The truth that we find, of course, back in our Bible, so many of them. The truth that you shall not hate your neighbor in your heart. The truth that you cannot turn away in the face of something that's wrong. The truth that we are all created in the image of God and therefore entitled to a fundamental dignity. The truth that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the truth that you must contest, stay away and then contest what are the lies, what are the falsehoods of your time. So we stand together tonight because we believe in truth. We believe that we must stand together to fight the big lies which really, for us, They do very much matter, and they must be contended with. We've come here tonight to join our voices against hatred. We come here tonight to join together against Holocaust denial. Many voices on behalf of one truth, the truth that is so fundamental, that hatred kills, that hatred is our enemy, that what happened to our people can never be forgotten, the truth that hatred must not have the last word. So my prayer is, may this gathering and those we honor this evening and this organization always be blessed with great success, and we say amen.
I'd like to take the opportunity now to ask one of our, also another founding member, because he's been with us from the start, but also a Holocaust survivor. And he has a great story. In fact, his story, the story of him and his family were made into a movie, which we shared a couple of years ago. The movie was called Defiance. And I'd like to ask Martin Block to come join us and say a few words this evening.
Good evening. As it was said, my name is Martin Block, and I'm probably one of the youngest Holocaust survivors. When the war started in Lithuania, in the town that we were there, I was 5 years old. And it was due to the diligence of my mother that I'm still here. My father, who was a director of gymnasium, was organized by the Germans within 2 weeks after they entered Ivia, a small town. There were about 3,600 Jews there, and they supposedly took him on a work routine. But my mother was convinced, one of the few, because none of the other people in the ghetto really believed that the Germans could be that bad. And she was convinced that the 200 people that they took, the lawyers, the teachers, the doctors, that they killed them, and they will kill the rest of the town. And I'm here because my mom, in early December of 41, decided to dig a hole underneath the barbed wires and to take me and my older brother, who was, I believe, about 15 years older than me. I was an accident. Under the barbed wire, and we went away to a friendly Christian, and then continued to be in the forest for a while, and then joined the Belsky Atrad, which I don't know if you have seen, but the Defiance is a pretty good description of what the Belsky was. There were about 6 or 7 children in the whole 1,200 Atrad, and if you see the movie and you see the kids that are being carried on the shoulder, I was one of them. I spent my career building an electronics company for precision frequency and time. I spent my retirement in lecturing on space navigation and the Holocaust. And I find that it is very important because the knowledge that exists on what happened and what could happen is really minuscule, if non-existent. I was addressing a bunch of scientists in Washington on a dinner a year ago, it was 2 years ago, Christmas, and I asked what they thought was the Holocaust and how many people were perished. And the answers, even from grown up, were between 2 and 4 million. They were shocked that there were 6 million Jews, 5 million non-Jews that were killed, and the total fatalities during the war was 70 million, of which 26, unfortunately, were Russian, and where my wife comes from Belarus, was the second. About 25% of the total population of Belarus was also exterminated. Now, I find that my mission outside of lecturing on space timing, which is my specialty, is to give lectures to various schools and adult dinners about the Holocaust, because if we forget what happened, unfortunately, the next generation is going to relive it. And I find it a very important mission that I promised my brother before I passed away that I will continue in his work. And I've given about 30 presentations now locally and in Washington and in various states. And I will continue to doing it because I feel it's my moral obligation to really tell the truth and to be a witness and a believable one, because I am one of survivors on this. And the reason I probably am one of the few survivors, because I happen to be very young. And if you know or if you don't know, but the first thing the Germans did is they exterminated the children and the elderly and then tried to work them, the Middle Ages to death. So there are very few children that survived the Second World War. Even less boys, because in Europe, only the Jews were circumcised. And even the righteous Gentiles that wanted to save children would only save girls, because they knew that if they took a Jewish boy, the German would force to undress and the jig is up. So there are very few my equals that exist. So I think it's very important, dinners like this and meetings in various schools. Mostly I address pupils between the ages of 10 and 15 in public schools and in private schools, to just educate them that for evil to triumph, good men have to do nothing. So it's important to basically project on this, and as long as I'm alive, I'll continue with my mission on this. So it's very dichotomy. I lecture on space timing, which is my educational specialty, and the Holocaust, which is my personal experience on this. And Jack and their team, I give him credit to organize this organization, because anything that we can do to help for the next generation to be aware and to be conscious and to not let it happen again. That for evil to triumph, good men have to do nothing. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you for all that you do. Please, a hand.
You're going to carry it for me?
He is so important to us, and we couldn't have said it any better of what our mission is with regard to Holocaust education. I'm going to take that I'm going to be segueing from what Martin just said. In front of you, you are going to have some pins, and it's a yellow pin that we're giving to each and every one of you to commemorate the children that were lost during the Holocaust. Please remember that as we look to move our mission forward in educating our young so that this never happens again.
At last year's awards dinner, it was our great privilege to honor a giant in the Jewish media world, the late Rabbi Mark S. Golub, founder, president, and CEO of the nationwide television channel Jewish Broadcasting Service. Mark Golub was a true rabbi, a teacher who educated us through his wonderful interviews and programming. So much so that to this day, he continues to have a tremendous impact on Jewish life. It is therefore fitting that Voices for Truth and Humanity established a special award to memorialize his contribution to the Jewish world, the Rabbi Mark S. Golub Man of the Year Award. It's my great pleasure to introduce Rabbi Mark's daughter and acting CEO of JBS, Dara Golub.
It is an incredible honor for me to stand here and present this award in my father's name today. Thank you to Hank, to Jack, and everyone at this incredible organization, not only for the work that you do and for creating the award in his memory, but for the honor last year. My father cared so deeply about touching people's lives through rabbinic teaching, which he dreamed of doing on television, and experiencing last year the communal recognition of the fulfillment of his dreams, of all that he gave to the Jewish world throughout a lifetime, to Holocaust education and memory. It was one of the highlights of his and of our family's year before he passed. I had the great good fortune of working side by side with my father for nearly 15 years. More if you count all the musical and other ways we collaborated throughout my entire life. The gratitude that he and I felt, the gratitude we constantly expressed together with my mother who was with us, the three of us did everything together. It was the three of us were a team, and the gratitude we expressed at every stage for going through such an experience together. We would express it often and with effusive abandon. But through this experience of working with my father, I not only had the privilege of being close to him throughout my adult life as a daughter, but I also had the added benefit of a truly unique view of his tireless dedication and to a depth of understanding of his work, his passion, and his vision. My father loved the Jewish tradition more than anything. He loved Midrash, he loved the Jewish people, he loved the state of Israel. The rabbinic tradition was his guiding star for how to be a person in this world, and he dedicated his life to transmitting that in ways that were exciting and authentic to him, to make the world a better, sweeter, safer place for Jews and all people, so that this Jewish story would continue for generations. Clearing out our childhood home recently, I came across early documents of his, the inception of L'chaim, his ideas for it in the 1970s, his ideas for the Chavurah, which was his small congregations in Greenwich and in Stamford, Connecticut, where he was a rabbi for 50 years. There were all of these early, the prayer books with the printed out and taped on with the illustrations. It was all there, the creation, the inception of all of these ideas, and of Jewish education in media. The nonprofit organization that he created in the 70s that was dedicated to transmitting Jewish values through media. Jewish education in media was his vision, it was his creation. JBS, the Jewish television channel that we're now working hard to bring to you and to the Jewish world, that was his vision and his legacy that he created. Are we able to show? I'd love to show a brief promo. This is newly in the works. This is actually a world premiere of a JBS promo. This is kind of in progress. So feel free to come up to me afterwards, offer some feedback. But this is a taste of JBS, and I'd love to share that with you before we continue.
I taught you once before, if you've gone through the entire Torah or the entire Talmud, you still have not reached page Aleph, page 1. But where to begin? I want to take my cue on where to begin from the Jewish tradition itself, from the rabbis. The Jewish tradition tells us where to begin, and the answer is simple: the Shabbat. The Shabbat is the central institution, the central moment, the central idea of the Jewish tradition. The weekly reminder of what it means to be a mensch and a Jew. The Shabbat creates a sense of Jewish identity.
Zaman Cherutenu, the season of our freedom.
Bless life with both hands. This is the charge of the Jewish tradition, and it is the theme of the high holidays.
Jacob's retrieval of the jars of oil led to the miracle of Hanukkah. And the miracle of Hanukkah led to the miracle of Jewish survival. And the miracle of Jewish survival leads to you.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, they all sing.
The emergence of Judaism is, I believe, the greatest story the world has ever known.
Jewish is a very, very, very large treasure box, toolbox. We're going to learn whether any of the tools, any of the technologies actually work in any significant way to help people flourish.
Life is a very narrow bridge, and the main thing is never to be afraid.
What is your definition of a Jew?
There is more conversation about a kind of a crisis of Jewish pride, or being able to be publicly proud of your Jewishness, Judaism. How do you instill Jewish pride?
To just be reminded of this sacred gift that we've been given, and that it matters that you have a voice, and that let's not just throw our hands up.
I wanted to be a builder of the community. I don't want to break it in any way.
Jewish food is so much more than just latkes, gefilte fish, and matzo ball soup.
World famous black bottom chocolate chip cheesecake.
What does all of this have to do with Judaism?
Well, in Judaism, we have a really good recipe book that gives us instruction on how to act in the world and relate to others and even God. Yep, I'm talking about the Torah.
So just like a good recipe or good advice, we can actually use the Torah that was given to us on Mount Sinai over and over again during the course of our year.
Why are there so many Jewish comedians?
My Zadie was so religious, he had 2 toilets, one for meat, one for dairy.
Before I go any further, I would like to introduce the band. Russ, this is Jay. Jay, this is one.
שבטלוויזיה סדרה בשם סיינפלד, שיש פה כמה אנשים שמריצים אותה.
את למשל. Israel is family. Whenever you get off a plane in Israel, you feel at home. I feel at home.
We are the luckiest Jews in history, that we can sit here today and kvel and shep naches and make a bracha about a miracle.
This miracle is something that's been handed to us that we have a responsibility to polish and to nurture and to grow and to create the continuity so generations after us get to celebrate this miracle.
How come that we are not spending more time to bring, the young generation to the land, to make something that will connect him back to his roots?
Actually, I first started talking about joining the IDF when I was 12.
Being on campus too, and a lot of anti-Israel bias, a lot of BDS and things like that. I had come to Israel multiple times. It's an unbelievable opportunity to sit here after thousands of years and say, I get to do my part. This is my part in the Jewish story.
The ability to be called someone who's responsible for the security and safety of the entire country is a huge honor.
So I went to Israel and I fell in love. And I saw what was happening on the ground and how it didn't make sense what was being said on my campus.
The spread of hateful lies and myths about Jewish people are fueling violent rhetoric and acts online and in our communities.
Anti-Semitism and extremism must not be ignored.
So what are we going to do about it?
Modeh Ani. I am very grateful for this opportunity to make the world safer, not just for Jews, but for democracy and democratic values.
We don't look one way, we don't speak one way, but we have a common heart and a common journey.
We should not be here, and yet here we are.
We are not only or even essentially the people that experienced the Holocaust, we are the people that defeated the Holocaust. That is what is relevant to Jewish identity in the 21st century.
Ever reminding the future generations to look at who was here. Look at what they did. Look at their legacy.
The Jewish tradition is all about people. All one has to do is be a lovely human being. And we need more lovely human beings in this world.
There is one person who is glaringly absent from that, and that is because we are saving him for now. I now have the great privilege of presenting the first ever Mark S. Golub Man of the Year Award to a man who has dedicated his life to transmitting Jewish values, also through media, also for Jewish memory, in ways that have been authentic and exciting to him. To me, the Mark S. Golub Man of the Year Award is for a rabbi, a teacher who shares the deep knowledge and love for the tradition to build new forms of welcoming, inclusion, inspiration. This award is for a scholar, someone who is continually growing, asking questions, and learning from others. This award is for a mensch. This award is for a star, someone with charisma, energy, humor, warmth, and light. This award is for a pioneer, someone taking the traditional work of being clergy to new frontiers in media and public spaces, unexpected places yet to be thought of. And this award is for a visionary, someone who, with immense creativity, transmits Jewish values in ways that are outstanding, out of the ordinary, innovative. Someone who understands the gifts they've been given and who pours everything they have into making their community and the world better through those talents. Thank you to Hank and Jack and the visionaries again at Voices for Truth and Humanity for carrying out your work with so much passion and creativity. This award in my father's name couldn't go to a more perfect person. And I would now like to turn it over to my father to introduce you to Rabbi Potasnik properly. I'd like to share with everyone a short selection of highlights between these two great men who epitomize the qualities of this award. Rabbi Joseph Potasnik with my father, Mark S. Golub, on L'chaim.
I'm Mark Golub, and I have a very, very special guest with me on this edition of L'chaim, someone I've known for a long time, for whom I have the highest regard and deep affection, and whom I've wanted on L'chaim forever. This is what was written about him: his humor, concern, tenderness, loyalty, and sense of initiative has made him a leader, a pastor, a friend to legions of folks who care deeply for New York. Those words were written by the Archbishop of New York, Timothy Michael Cardinal Dolan, and they are part of the foreword to a lovely book you should know about. It's entitled Just Give Me a Minute, Insights from the Radio Rabbi. And its author is the esteemed Executive Vice President of the New York Board of Rabbis, as well as the New York City Fire Department's cherished chaplain, a position which he's held since 1999. That obviously means he was fire chaplain for New York during 9/11. And his book, Just Give Me a Minute, Insights from the Radio Rabbi, is the product of virtually 50 years of being on radio and television. He co-hosts The Rev and the Rabbi with Reverend A.R. Bernard every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on 77 WABC Radio in New York. You can catch it online as well. And he does it with his special blend of wisdom and compassion, a delightful sense of humor for which he is known worldwide. And this may be the most important thing to be said about him. In the rabbinate, there are many wonderful rabbis. And then there are the rare few who are known to their colleagues as a rabbi's rabbi. It is my enormous pleasure to welcome to L'chaim a dear and beloved friend, Rabbi Joseph Potasnik, Executive Vice President of the New York Board of Rabbis, Chaplain for the New York City Fire Department, Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation Mount Sinai, an independent egalitarian synagogue in Brooklyn, New York. He became their rabbi in 1972. and the author of Just Give Me a Minute, Insights from the Radio Rabbi and the Rabbi's Rabbi. It is so wonderful to have you at this table finally.
I find there are some people who are very ready to help others but overlook their own. Some people help their own but overlook others. And you know there's a synthesis that we are obligated to do both. And I think as a rabbi, you have to be the exemplar of that relationship that is so impactful.
That is a wonderful ability you have to express the essence of what, if religion, but certainly what Judaism is. And this is, to me, it's a very sweet book. And as I said at the beginning, it's a book of just wisdom. It's the experiences you've had.
The word legacy, as you know in Hebrew, comes from nachalah, from nachal, meaning river, because a legacy is ongoing. So I wrote the book really as a living legacy to my parents, loved ones they lost, and also something my son could read and say, my dad.
You know how much I love you.
Thank you.
Kol HaKavod, you have got to promise to be back.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Who's better than you?
Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Mark S. Golub Man of the Year Award for Rabbi Joseph Potasnik.
Oh, thank you.
Let me give you a hug.
All right, okay.
Thank you so much. I must tell you, I received a most unusual invitation to come here tonight. It was Hank Levy who called me. He said, Rabbi, you believe in free speech? I said, of course I do, Hank. He said, good, you come give one tonight. So I just want to thank you for that wonderful, wonderful moment. Let me say this to you, Dara. I expect to hear that a parent is proud of a child. How heartening it is when you also hear that a child is proud of a parent. I heard someone say to me recently, talking about Rabbi Golub, what a shame he passed away. And I said to that person, I would reframe that sentence. I think it would be better to say what a privilege it was that he passed this way. You know, there was a famous movie entitled The King's Speech. I'm sure many of you remember a line in it, which says, I have a voice. Mark Golub had the voice of the Jewish community. Friday night, we begin the festival of Sukkot. And you know, during the festival, we have an unusual custom. We walk around the synagogue, and some people walk down the street, visit people carrying a lulav, that palm branch. Somebody once asked, why is it we don't do the same with the shofar? Why do we only do with the lulav? And the answer given is that a shofar you can hide. You can put it in your pocket. A lulav you can't hide. You want to be a Jew? Be like that lulav. You stand tall. You walk proud. I see Tom DiNapoli is here. And every time people see Tom DiNapoli, they say, where are my unclaimed funds? But I want to tell you, Mark Golub also would tell you, we as Jews have to claim the unclaimed funds. We have to recognize that we have a rich tradition, and we have to take advantage of it. I recall something Mark would do that always impressed me. Some of you may know the name Shalom Nagar. Israel Nitzan, former consul general, may be familiar with it as well. Shalom Nagar was the person who executed Adolf Eichmann. When photographers would come to take a photo of him, he would say, don't put me near the execution site. Take a picture of me in a synagogue. Take a picture of me in a yeshiva or a school. Don't just talk about the tragedy, talk about the triumph of Jewish life. And that was Mark Golub. He spoke of the pain, he spoke of the privilege. And I think that Mark Golub authored a prayer that all of us should remember. You heard the Shema Yisrael tonight. Mark would give you an additional prayer. He would say very simply, Shema Yisrael, Hear, O Israel, Yisrael Amenu. Israel is our people, Yisrael Echad, and we as a people must be one. Thank you very much for this great honor. Well, let me just tell you, I live in Manhattan, so I thank you so much. I'll be able to get home safely now. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. And it's a great honor to have you as one of the honorees here this year. We have a number of our elected officials that have now arrived, and so we want to start beginning to have them come up. We know that they have a very busy schedule, so let me begin by introducing someone who's a great friend to Voices for Truth and Humanity. And as the rabbi had said, he holds the unclaimed funds, but he's the watchdog to our New York State coffers. Let me begin and introduce New York State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli. Tom, come join us.
Thank you, Rachel, very much. Good evening, everyone. It is a tough act to follow Rabbi Joe, but I just want to make clear that Rabbi Klein gave him all those good talking points, right? Give Rabbi Joe Potasnik another round of applause for everything he does each and every day. I want to congratulate Voices for Truth and Humanity, to Jack and Hank and Angel, and the board members, the officers. Thank you for the incredible work that you do to maintain awareness and sensitivity and understanding of the lessons of the Holocaust, to understand that we have to do so much to continue to fight anti-Semitism in every form. It's a privilege to be on a list of the great folks who are being honored. Obviously, Rabbi Joe is very special to all of us, but to Michael Rosenblatt, Leora Rez, Kensington Company's Ken Stein, colleagues of mine in government, County Executive Steve Bellone, who's given a lifetime of service to Suffolk County. His term is ending due to term limits, but he is someone of great heart and great compassion, has done so much for the people of Suffolk County. My county executive in Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman, is someone I've had the privilege to work with for many years. He's someone who's very proud of his Jewish heritage and roots. He's giving great leadership, being the fiscal steward and leader in Nassau County. And just this week, we saw how he gave such support and comfort to our neighbors in Farmingdale who suffered that terrible tragedy from that bus accident. Bruce, thank you for your great heart and your great concern for all the people of Nassau County. I think as much as these individuals are worthy of recognition, I think the most special people being honored and acknowledged are our scholars, the essay winners, right? Aiden and Braden, Alexis, Nicholas, Evan. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done to help. Right, give them a round of applause. Our young people are definitely our future and really are our present as well. You know, one of the real challenges of the terrible time of COVID is that we saw a significant increase in anti-Semitic incidents, be it words or physical assaults. It tells us that there is something very bad going on out there. And again, the need for more education and understanding. I know this organization and so many individuals in this room worked very hard to get the Holocaust education legislation enacted. I saw Assemblymember Steve Stern is here, right? So we really brought together a wonderful coalition of elected officials. And thank you for your leadership to be sure that the State Education Department is including Holocaust education in our schools. It's very important. And as much as we could be concerned about the evil done by wrongdoers. The bigger challenge really is indifference, people dismissing these actions or these words. As Elie Wiesel once said, action is the only remedy to indifference. What Voices for Truth and Humanity is doing is action. And I appreciate the leadership that this organization provides. We try to do our part with our respective roles as elected officials. I'm very proud of the fact that another important issue, obviously, is fighting against boycott, divestment, and sanction against Israel. And I'm very proud of the fact that our pension fund has a very clear policy against investing in any companies involved in BDS. And that was tested. That was tested with the Ben & Jerry's controversy, and we took our money out of Unilever because of that. So action is important. So I just want to say to Jack and the team, any way that I can continue to stand in solidarity with you, to speak out with words, but also with actions. In my respective role as controller of the state of New York, it would be my privilege to continue to do that. And also, the positive actions I think are important to point out. Something that I point out to some of the folks that said, you know, why are you spending time worrying about an issue like BDS? So, well, you know what? New York has always had an historic bond with the people of Israel. That's why I'm very proud of the fact that we actually have over $1 billion of our pension fund invested in Israel bonds, Israel companies, private equity investments. So anything that's going to harm the state of Israel, it harms us in New York. And we, I'm very proud to say, are the state, the #1 purchaser of Israel bonds, because that bond between New York and Israel, it's not just words, it's not just in the heart, it's actually, getting back to Elie Wiesel's comments, it's about action as well. So congratulations to everyone being recognized this evening, and great to see this wonderful turnout supporting this wonderful organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. For Tom, we also have, since you mentioned Elie Wiesel,
Yes.
it's a signed copy of his book.
I didn't even know that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. Let me quickly ask our fellow board member, Andrea Bolender, to come up, and she's going to introduce our Nassau County executive.
Thank you, everybody. It's been such a lovely evening. About 6 months ago, I sent Bruce a picture of when the Holocaust Museum was first opened. And in the front row was Bruce, Tom Galata, and Boris Chardon, Zichron Lavracha. And I have to say that I've known Bruce for at least 35 years. We both were in the 5 towns, and every time we opened a store, Bruce was there to cut the ribbon. But he was also there to give us so much support for the Jewish community. And I have to say, we both had the same hero, Andy Parisi, and for the reason that he was a liberator. And I believe that he still lives on in Bruce. And I have never felt safer in Nassau County, and I'm very proud to have Bruce as my county executive. Bruce, please come up. The Bolender family, we have been friends for many, many, many years. And I want to thank you for everything you do for Nassau County, but you do for the people. And I know that your son just finished the IDF. So son-in-law, so mazel tov. And thank you. And
thank you very much for that kind introduction. And yes, we have worked together for many years, many more than I want to admit. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me and bestowing this honor upon me. It means a tremendous amount to me because of the nature of the work that you do that is so very important. I want to recognize my colleague in government, Senator Steve Rhodes. Thank you, a good friend of the Jewish people. And of course, Tom DiNapoli. Tom DiNapoli is not only a great comptroller, he's a great human being. And I don't mind saying that he does a magnificent job as controller, but more importantly, he is somebody that we all look up to in government. He's a model of what good government should be. He's a real mensch. I just have a message for you, Tom, from your priest. He's a little upset with you. He says you spend more time in Jewish synagogues than you do at church, so you better remedy that. But Tom does a great job. Steve Ballone, I understand, will be here shortly. Steve has been a great partner with me on regional issues that are important to all along. Oh, Steve's here. Steve, thank you for your service to Suffolk County and the region. And I'm sure that your future is very bright going forward. And I also wanted to say about Rabbi Joe Potasnik. Rabbi Joe Potasnik is a hero. What he has done as chaplain to the FDNY, especially during some of the most challenging times that the FDNY has had to endure 9/11, his work is unbelievably appreciated by all the members of the FDNY. And thank you, Joe, for all you do. And as was said before, and you also do it with humor. I like to call you Shecky Potasnik, but so, and there's so many people I could go around the room and recognize. First of all, I want to thank all the essay contest winners. It's incredibly important. The most important thing is that we continue the fight against anti-Semitism, against those who would deny the Holocaust. And it's with our young people that we have the most work to do. So it's incredibly gratifying that these young people would participate in this essay contest. So congratulations to all of them. I just want to tell you a little bit about my raison d'etre, why I run for office, why I do what I do. So I was 9 years old in 4th grade. I had a wonderful grandfather, my grandfather, Jesse Blakeman. Terrific guy, loved kids, loved his grandchildren. He was just the kind of grandfather that was, the prototype of the grandfather you'd want. He just a wonderful guy. Always used to wear a sport coat. I used to feel that he wore a sport coat to bed because he always had to have a sport coat on. But he always had candy in the pockets for the grandchildren. So it was always a pleasure to see Grandpa Jesse. And at 9 years old, he calls me into the kitchen and he says, I want to have a serious talk with you. I had never had a serious talk with my grandfather before. So I was a little bit perplexed at what it was about. And my grandfather said to me, I want you to make a promise. I said, sure, Grandpa, what's the promise? He goes, there's 2 things I want you to remember. I want you to always remember that you're a Jew, and I always want you to remember that you're an American. Don't ever forget that. And that's the way I've tried to conduct my life. I think that it is incredibly important to have mentors and role models, and certainly my grandfather was that for me. In conclusion, let me say this. We have fought very hard in Nassau County to fight against anti-Semitism, to fight against any kind of prejudice or bigotry. We are home to almost 1.5 million residents. We're larger than 10 states. We have every race, every ethnic group, every religion in Nassau County. And that's what makes us a great county. We don't have the problems of other places because we care for each other. We respect each other. We look out for each other and we love each other. And that's what makes Nassau County such a great place. And that's why it's an honor for me to be county executive. But the fight continues. And I need to make sure that you realize that I am so in awe of everything you do each and every day. Let's face it, as Tom DiNapoli was talking about the BDS is anti-Semitism. It is not anti-Israel. Don't try to cloak it in that, because there's no BDS for Venezuela, there's no BDS for Cuba, there's no BDS for Russia, there's no BDS for China. It's only Israel. So we have to fight to make sure that we have a free and strong state of Israel. I just returned. I was there 2 weeks ago. I had a great meeting with President Herzog. I met with the Mossad. I met with the Israeli Counterintelligence Center. We toured a lot of places. I went to the Shomron. I'm a big supporter of the Shomron. I'm a supporter of Judea and Samaria. All you have to do is go to Samaria, look at the geography there, and realize that it is of such a strategic importance to Israel that if we lost that, we would lose Tel Aviv. So I'm not ashamed to be a Zionist. I'm not ashamed to support Israel. And in the memory of my grandfather, I will always do so. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Shows you're a fan.
A bat. I love it. Is Martin Block here? Okay. Big admirer, Bielski Brothers, the Bielski Brigade. Love it. Read the book, saw the movie. Fighting Jews. God bless you.
Bruce, thank you. Please put the bag.
Bruce Blakeman, once again, County Executive, Nassau County. It's now my privilege to also bring up our other county exec here in the Long Island region, who has done a great deal to fight anti-Semitism. He has not only been vocal, but he has backed his words with action. And let me tell you, he has been doing an amazing job in Suffolk County, and we're really honored to have him here with us tonight as well. Please, Steve Malone, Suffolk County Executive.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Angel. I very much appreciate the introduction. And of course, I understand that I'm in Nassau County. So when you're in Nassau County, you're the other county executive. You know, when Bruce comes to Suffolk, he's the other county executive. So I know my place. It's good to be here. We are on the border, but this is very much Nassau County, and it is great to be here with my good friend and a great leader and somebody we've been able to work with very closely over the years, but it's been a pleasure working with you as county executive. And Bruce alluded to this. For those of you who don't know, I'm ending my tenure as county executive after 12 years. I'm in my last few months now. And you know, it's been very nice. A lot of people have said, oh, you know, thank you. We wish you could stay longer. I said, oh, thank you very much. It's so nice to hear those sentiments. The only one who doesn't feel that way very much is my wife. She is very excited about the countdown. But it truly is an honor to be here with all of you tonight. The Voices for Truth and Humanity, Jack Britran, thank you. Where's Jack? Where's Jack? He might have stepped out. Jack, well, thank you to Jack. Angel, thank you. Jack, thank you very much for your leadership and the wonderful work that you and the organization do in fighting anti-Semitism. I want to acknowledge my good friend and colleague, our great State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli, who, as I always say, really is a role model for what a public servant is supposed to be. And I've tried to learn and really take advantage of the work that he does and the work that I do. So I'm really happy to be here because this is a great honor to receive. When we're talking about the fight against anti-Semitism, it really is one of the most important fights that we have in this world today. And we have tried to take the lead as much as we can in Suffolk County in this battle, in this important fight for all of us. So we were the first county in the state of New York and among the first anywhere in the country to adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. And I want to thank Avni Posnick, who is here with Stand With Us for the great work that he did, and the organization, Mendy Perlmutter, Jewish Community Relations Council, Eric Post, American Jewish Committee. We're very proud to stand with those organizations. We're also among the first counties anywhere in the state of New York to adopt anti-BDS legislation. Now, that legislation was authored by a great leader. He was a county legislator at the time, but now is doing amazing things in the state as our Assemblyman, Steve Stern. He authored the legislation, the anti-BDS legislation, and I was very proud to sign it. So thank you for that, Steve. And recently, obviously, we, as I mentioned, the great partners we've been working with, bringing together municipalities, bringing together Bruce and I and the 2 counties and towns and villages to stand against hate, municipalities against hate. This is a really important initiative because it is important that all of us, the people of good faith, the overwhelming majority of humanity, that every time that we see hate rise up, that we collectively come together to stamp it out. Do not give it a moment, an opportunity to breathe. And that's why this organization and what you do to educate kids, the most important thing we can do. This Holocaust Remembrance Day, I gathered my family and my kids on the Zoom we did with JCRC, and a Holocaust survivor was giving a lecture over Zoom about his experiences. And it was very important to me to educate my kids and to teach them. That's my first and primary responsibility. But we all have this responsibility to make sure that every generation understands the terrible acts of hatred and violence that have occurred out of hatred, so that we can do everything to prevent them in the future. And that's what that education is about. So I'm very honored to receive this award. I'm grateful to all of you who do so much in your lives and your careers and your work to stand up against anti-Semitism and hate. I want to thank the Jewish war veterans who are here, all the veterans who are here for your service to our country. Very grateful to all of you for your service. God bless you. And thank you for this wonderful honor. Have a wonderful evening tonight. Thank you so much.
County Exec, we know you're a Yankee fan.
Yes, that's right.
Another record holder, Roger Maris, to you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let me just say, we are so grateful to have our elected officials here with us this evening, and we know that their time is limited. So, right, thank you very much. Let's continue our program here. I'd like to bring up, once again, our board member, Hank Levy, who will introduce our next honoree. If you would find your seats, please. If you would find your seats. Hank, would you come up and introduce our next honoree, please?
Will everyone please take their seats? More than ever, we need people leading our healthcare institutions that have the knowledge, have the leadership, have the vision, and have the compassion needed to guide us through these difficult health times that we're all experiencing. Michael Rosenblatt embodies these qualities, and that is why he is our choice for Voices for Truth and Humanity's Humanitarian Award. Michael is the president and CEO of Parker Jewish Institute, one of the largest post-acute care organizations in the region. He is founding chairman of the board of AgeWell New York, a licensed Medicare Advantage plan and Medicaid Advantage Plus plan in New York State. And in his spare time, He is president and CEO of Queens Long Island Renal Institute, a state-of-the-art dialysis center. At work, Michael connects with residents and patients, families, and team members. In his personal life, he connects with the Jewish community, where he is the past president of Congregation Emmanuel in Westchester. Here is a man who not only would make his father, Alan, who also had a distinguished healthcare career, proud, but he makes us all proud as well. Michael Rosenblatt, thank you for all you do to keep New Yorkers healthy and safe.
So the good news is I'm not a politician here this evening, so I'm not looking for votes. So give me a round of applause for that at least. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm almost as funny as Rabbi Joe Potasnik. Let's give Rabbi Potasnik a round of applause, everybody. I figure since they're running an hour late, I can give an hour speech now to everybody, so hey. But don't worry, I want to thank everybody so much for this evening, for the Voices for Truth and Humanity organization, for the Humanitarian Award. In memory of my family members who were lost to the Holocaust, I'm grateful to be receiving this award. I remember as a child asking my mother, of blessed memory, why there were pictures unframed hanging in our laundry room at home in Rockland County. My mother sat me down as a child and explained to me that these pictures were painted by our relatives on the rear of gift boxes who had perished in the Holocaust but were smuggled out and then left to our family. That memory stays with me to this day, 35 plus years later. It is so critically important, as our controller said, about the anti-Semitism groups that we have to always fight with. As the county executive said, during the past several decades, the Parker Jewish Institute has cared for Holocaust survivors, both as inpatient and as community patients within our local community here in Nassau County. It has meant a lot to us to care for these individuals. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate my fellow honorees, and a special thanks to the Parker Jewish Institute board members, Bob Sterling, Jerry Landsberg, Lenny Tanzer, and Mike Denhoff, along with our entire executive team who have joined this evening for the event. I thank you again, and I kept my speech nice and short for everybody. So, hey, thank you very much.
Don Mattingly bat for you.
Excellent, excellent. I could use this on my way home tonight. So, hey.
And if you would you please, we want to recognize your board, if you would have them stand.
If the trustees for the Parker Jewish Institute could stand, please, and be recognized. Thank you.
Who else do you have with you?
And our executive team. Guys, stand up. The executive, stand up. You're the ones who make it all happen, etc. Like, I'm not sure what to do with the baseball bat. I got to be honest with everybody, but hey, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
We have a citation here from Tom DiNapoli.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all your good work, Michael. And thank you for trustees and executives for joining us this evening. We have a corporate honoree as well. And I'd like to bring up their two representatives, Albert Hakim and Kent Stein. Please, if you would. Please, we'd like to have you come up.
How are you?
How are you?
I am good. Is he coming? He's coming.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Stein.
Ladies and gentlemen, Albert Hakim.
So, good evening. You're not going to stay?
Yeah, I'm staying.
Just stay, hang out. I can scrap this and I can go into a comedy routine if you like.
I know.
You want to do that? Okay. No, but seriously, this is a long program, and I will also try to be very brief. So, on behalf of my associates, Ken Stein, Adam Stein, who's at the table, and the entire Kensington family, we're honored to be recognized amongst all of you who do such great work, and we thank the Voices for Truth and Humanity for their recognition of us tonight. But in truth, it really is us who should be recognizing them. So please join me in a round of applause again for Jack, Angel, and everyone from Voices for Truth and Humanity. So I promise I'll be brief, but please indulge me just a few comments. I want to simply tell you how I'm connected to tonight and to this cause. So I am a Jew from Egypt, and my family came to this country as refugees. We are among the nearly 1 million Jews who were forced out of Arab lands post-World War II and post the creation of the State of Israel. You don't hear much about us, but our story is very rich. But that's a story for another time, not tonight. Jack, maybe we'll do a program on that because there's a lot to tell there. There's a lot of education there. But I do remember my father speaking to me about the fear that they felt in Egypt because the Germans and the Italians had marched onto North Africa. And in addition to the atrocities that they heard about that were going on in Europe, word got to them about the atrocities in Tunisia and Libya, right in their backyard. The advance was less than 150 miles from the city center of Cairo, where the major concentration of the Jewish population lived in the Jewish quarter. The bloodshed there would have been easy, and I know because I visited there and I saw how they lived. Had the Allies, led by the British troops, not defeated Rommel's advances in El Alamein, who knows what would have happened? We seriously were this close to joining the fate of our European brothers and sisters. I was also fortunate to attend a yeshiva high school that was a pioneer in Holocaust studies and education, and I learned in a very deep way about the atrocities associated with the Holocaust, as well as those scattered stories of heroism that you hear about. I went to college in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I spent 10 years in southern Maine and Massachusetts. And I can tell you that most people simply don't know. They have no idea. Outside of New York and major cities, many have never even met a Jewish person, let alone been educated about this history. So I've made it my business throughout my years to let them know. We need educators, ambassadors, who can speak in a non-confrontational way to an uneducated public. That's one of the reasons I support this organization. I found that most people are good and receptive to the knowledge, which is why I'm so proud of my daughter, Julia, who's in attendance tonight. Hi, Jewel. Along with my son, Benjamin, who's studying at the University of Wisconsin. They've carried on this legacy, and they are the ambassadors, because it's their turn. Also because they are truly on the front lines of confronting hate today on the college campuses. So I am very, very proud that we gave them the tools to be able to deal with that. My wife, Janet, is also in attendance. Janet, just stand up for a second, please. Stand up and say hi. Okay, isn't she beautiful? So she has an even more direct connection to the Holocaust. Her entire father's side, her entire family is from Germany. And her father, Dr. Walter Dreyfus, may he rest in peace, who came to this country as a young man and spoke fluent German, served in the US Army in counterintelligence, and he went back to Germany to assist in the hunting of Nazis. So we have some very, very rich connections there as well. My family lives this shared experience, and we feel an obligation to support, to speak up, and an obligation to educate. We need to learn from our past, as was said so eloquently before, so that the past can never be repeated. Thank you.
Gentlemen, for Ken, well, Ken we knew was a baseball fan, and for Albert, you're a basketball fan from what? We know all. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. We've reached a very important segment of our program now because this is the first year that we've had this, that we've done this. And we had spoken to you about it last year where we were doing scholarships in order to help motivate our kids in schools. And so this year we had 5 scholarship winners of $1,000 each. Okay? And they're going to be coming up in just a moment, but I'd like to ask fellow board member Glenn Landau to come and to tell you about this initiative and what we've done.
Hello, everyone. The hour is late, and I believe the most important honorees of the evening have school tomorrow. So I'll do my best to try and speed this up. As Angel said, I have what I consider to be the best job of the evening because I get to present awards to 5 absolutely outstanding high school students. As you all know, our organization was established in response to some very alarming statistics which showed that younger populations know little to nothing about the Holocaust or the magnitude of the atrocities that occurred. As a consequence, they're not equipped with the tools to recognize the strategy that's been used in every genocide throughout history. First you delegitimize, then you dehumanize, and then you destroy, because by then, nobody will care. Without an understanding of how the Holocaust and all genocides actually came to be, they're susceptible to the same manipulation and propaganda that's been used time and time again as a pretext for every genocide throughout history. So we made it our mission to reverse that trend by seeing that a robust curriculum on the Holocaust and all genocides is taught in New York State public schools and throughout the US. And to further that goal, as Angel just said, last year we announced the establishment of an essay contest awards program for rising high school seniors that asks these questions. What do you believe are the lessons society should learn from the Holocaust, and how do you think those lessons are still relevant and applicable today? What might be some examples from history and today that can help us better understand these events? And what inspired you to participate in this essay contest? And we're proud to say we have our inaugural year winners here with us tonight, and hopefully they're all still here, and yes, they are. So before they call them up, I first want to just acknowledge the other members of the committee who had the unenviable task of reviewing all of the submissions and selecting winners. So I'm going to ask to join me on stage our esteemed board member, Andrea Bolander, former executive director of the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. Andrea, please come on up. That's okay. And very prominent humanities professor at SUNY Maritime College and Holocaust lecturer, our good friend, Dr. Mark Meyerowitz. Mark, where are you? Please come up as well. Excellent. So as Angel said, each of our winners is going to be presented with a certificate along with a check for $1,000. I already told them that the big checks are absolutely useless. So prior to the dinner, I actually gave them nice small ones that were signed, and they can take those and hopefully use them towards their higher education or further education after high school. As I call up each winner, I'm also going to ask the principals of the high schools, who we've invited here as well, those who were able to attend tonight, to come up and join us. Because we want to recognize the schools for the great work they're doing in teaching the Holocaust and preparing these future leaders for the roles that they've already established themselves in. So I'm going to ask them to come up when I call each of their names. So without further ado, and this is purely in alphabetical order, they are all equal winners. Aiden Kaplan from Comac High School, please come on up. Unfortunately, Aiden's principal, Carrie Lippenholtz, was not able to attend tonight. No, the book is, that's for your principal. The book's for principal. So let's stand here. Take a picture. Yes.
Why don't you guys slide over so when I get the podium, slide over?
Go this way. Go this way. Abe, stay up here. Stay up here. Next, I'd like to call Braden Dilmanian from Great Neck North High School and Principal Dan Holtzman. I don't see Dan Holtzman. Is Dan Holtzman here? What we're going to be giving to the principals is an autographed book by Holocaust survivor Leo Ullman for the school's library. That's okay, you can smile for Mom. Next, I'm going to call up Nicholas Mascari from Calhoun High School in Merrick, and hopefully Principal Nicole Hollings. Next, we have Alexis Saris from Half Hollow Hills High School East in Dix Hills. And Principal Strong, unfortunately, was not able to attend, so. And finally, Evan Weinstein from East Meadow High School and Principal Richard Howard.
Let's hear it for the 5 students. They're the future. By the way, I'm Jack Britvan. I'm the president for Voices for Truth and Humanity. And people ask me, apparently your parent was a Holocaust survivor, and no, not at all. The reality is I was watching Inglourious Bastards. It ended at about midnight. And I knew Hitler didn't die that way, so I went on the internet to actually see how he died. And in my searches, I realized that 5 million non-Jews were murdered by the Holocaust. Can we have quiet, please? Thank you. Were murdered by the Holocaust, and it really bothered me. I'm not a religious Jew, but I'm very culturally Jewish. And it really bothered me that I didn't know that. So in my searches, I found out that 1.5 million children, Jewish children, that didn't have a chance to grow up, didn't have a chance to finish school, to go to college, to love, to have their own children, they all perished because of a madman and because people stood by and did nothing. Countries knew what was going on, they did nothing. Everyone thought that it couldn't happen. When I did the Pledge of Allegiance today, my hand went over the butterfly. Yellow for the color of the Holocaust, The butterfly recognizing the 1.5 million children that were murdered by the Nazis. Now, we hear something that a child dies in a car accident, dies because of parent neglect. It's all over the media, and they repeat it. There are trials, they repeat it. It's over and over again. The 1 anniversary of this and that. But the 1.5 million children that were murdered by the Nazis is not spoken of. And there's something very, very wrong with that. Our schools do not teach about the Holocaust, and what they do is minor at best. And we're on JBS, so I'm speaking to all 50 states right now. To Governor Hochul from New York, which I was there the other day, about 200 people for our Rosh Hashanah gathering in the city. New York and New Jersey established a mandate on Holocaust education in 1994. New Jersey created a commission and has a complete K through 12 curriculum. They are unbelievably active throughout the state. New York has 2 lines. The teachers are not teaching. A lot of the teachers don't know about the Holocaust. Some schools teach it. Others just avoid it. And what happens is these children go off to college and they don't know about the Holocaust. They've never seen Schindler's List, because if you're under 30, chances are, unless you happen to turn it on or a parent gives you a DVD or a CD or something along those lines, which kids don't use these days, you've never seen it. If they saw it, they wouldn't believe it. But these are the problems that we're facing today. It's not in the schools, and the apathy that we just rely on everybody else to take care of it. I will tell you that last year, I met with Rabbi Golub, right over there, and he asked me, he said, Jack, what do you think about anti-Semitism and BDS? Are we defeating it? How are we doing with it? I said, well, we do something, but we're losing. It's all over the college campuses. The universities do nothing about it whatsoever. Freedom of speech, they bring people on that just lie, propaganda, or whatever it is. They bring it just is nonstop, and we don't do anything. We have groups that say, yeah, we're here on this college and this campus, and they have one person handling 4 states. We're nowhere. So for those of you that are going, that have children or grandchildren that are going to college, prepare, because we're not doing anything. So the question is are you going to get involved? Or, and I hate to put it this way, or are you going to let Hitler win? Because he's winning right now. He's dead, but he's winning. And that's where we are right now. Okay, so I just wanted to point out a few things right now that we don't have. We're like oblivious to everything. I believe it's 25, 30, 40% of the professional sports teams are Jewish owned. Are there any Holocaust Remembrance Days, Holocaust Remembrance Weeks for any of this? No, so I'm going to wind up calling out on JBS and here in this audience here, if anybody knows the following people, to speak to them, to say we need Holocaust Remembrance Week in the following sports. You have New York Islanders, John Ledecky. His parents were Holocaust survivors. Do you think someone over here can reach out to him and can get him to speak to the National Hockey League that there can be a Holocaust Remembrance Week? Okay? Do you think someone here can wind up doing that? Dallas Mavericks, the NBA, Mark Cuban. He's in front of you all the time in Shark Tank. Can someone reach out to him? Or are we just going to say, somebody else will do it, or it won't do it. Eventually it'll get done. It won't get done unless you do it. New York Mets, Steve Cohen. You approach him, he's going to do it. He's a mensch, he's going to do it. Who knows Steve Cohen? Let's contact him. Let's get it done. Robert Kraft, New England Patriots. He won the Genesis Award 2 or 3 years ago. He created the foundation to combat anti-Semitism and pledged $20 million. You saw their commercials, great commercials. Then after that, nothing. If you're not going to be consistent, if you're not going to be aggressive, you're not going to get anywhere. We need to get on the college campuses. We need to fight BDS, which is just Jew hatred. Not anti-Semitism. Let's call it for what it is. English. Jew hatred. We need to get active. And I just mentioned these names for everybody on JBS. If you know anybody to get to them, please get to them. And I'm going to do one last thing, 3 individuals. Because Voices started because of the movie Inglourious Bastards. Quentin Tarantino in Israel would love to be able to speak to you. Eli Roth lives in Manhattan, love to speak to you. Adam Sandler, if Adam Sandler came on board, everything changes. Everything changes. If you know how to get in touch with any of these people, reach out to Voices. We want to speak. We will do the work, but we need help getting in. Now, just one last thing, and I just want to just point this out over there as far as how to handle BDS on college campuses and also in order to teach in high schools. I don't know how many people here, I know the students have virtual reality. You put on goggles, and basically you are there. You're there. You are wherever you are. If you're at the beach, you can look around, you're there. You hear the sounds of the beach. Well, what if you had a 15-minute virtual reality before Kristallnacht, during Kristallnacht, hiding from the Nazis finding you and putting you on a cattle car, getting into the concentration camps. No murder, no physical, excessive physical violence, but just the history over there. Do you think maybe some of the people that are backing BDS will understand what the Jewish population and others went through during the Holocaust and maybe start using their brains to see if BDS is actually something that they want to be involved with, or it's propaganda, lies, and just plain Jew hatred, and that maybe they should do something about it, because we all know it starts with the Jews and then it goes to the next group and the next group and the next group. Okay, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for coming here tonight. Right now, we're going to wind up having Ron, Eliran. Okay, Ron, please, let's go. Take it on board.
Okay, Woods. Wait a second. בסדר, עכשיו. תדליק. לא שומעים את זה. זה סגור, לא?
That was so great, כל הכבוד, what I say. אני רוצה לומר, not everybody understands Hebrew, but we'll try to do some Israeli songs, something that can get us all together. And whenever you think about Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, that is our center in the whole world. Lach Yerushalayim בין חומות העיר, לך ירושלים אור חדש יאיר, בלבנו רק שיר אחד קיים, לך ירושלים בין ירדן וים, בלבנו רק שיר אחד קיים, לך ירושלים בין ירדן וים. From the Jordan to the sea, sing Jerusalem. From the hills of Galilee, sing Jerusalem. In the mountains, in the valleys, the golden bells are ringing. Long shall live Jerusalem. Lift your voice and sing. בליבנו, בליבנו רק שיר אחד קיים, לך ירושלים, בין ירדן וים, בין ירדן וים, בין ירדן וים. Hey! תודה רבה, thank you. Can I hear a little more of the speakers? I would like at this time just to say that I'm here mostly because of Mark Golub, that I loved so much. I was a few times a guest on his show, and it was such a pleasure. It was such a connection, such a great, great warm heart. And I will miss him, and I know I would like to dedicate the next song to Mark Golub Ayakar, the dear person, a wonderful soul. This song I know that he liked, and it's a song about Israel. I'll just fix this. קום והתהלך בארץ, בתלמיל ובמקל, וודאי תפתח בדרך, שוב את ארץ ישראל. יחבקו אותך דרכיה, של הארץ הטובה, היא תקרא אותך אליה, כמו אל ארץ אהבה. זו אכן אותה הארץ ואותה האדמה ואותה פיסת הסלע הנצרבת בדממה, ומתחת לאספלט לבנייני הרבה מסתתרת המולדת ביישנית וענווה. Come with me and walk the country. There's so much to show and tell. See the glory and the wonder of our Eretz Israel. Let the winding roads embrace you. Listen to the mountains call. Every little step you're taking brings you closer to your soul. So come and walk the fields, touch the sweet land, see the beauty of the earth. From the hills down to the white sands, she's your dream and she's your fate. Down the road hear the children sing, the voices ringing like a bell. And you know that you love her so, and you'll always love Eretz Israel. קום והתהלך בארץ, בתלמיל ובמקל, וודאי תפגוש בדרך שוב את ארץ ישראל. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see if you have an Israeli song that you like, that is your favorite, you can ask. I see that most of the people kind of got tired, but those who are here, I think it's so nice of you to stay. And I'd like to, everybody was talking tonight, so I guess I'm infected by the same disease. I was born in Israel, and I was a kid when the country was born. And as a child, I remember we were under the British mandate. My father had a bakery for cakes. And I remember one day, and he used to sell it to the British soldiers. And one day, instead of money, he got a radio from a British soldier. And that's when I heard my English for the first time. And we heard a lot of songs like, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You'll make me happy when clouds are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away." The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I thought I heard you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. Please don't take my sunshine away. Last time. You are my sunshine, everybody, my only sunshine. You make me happy when clouds are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Yeah. Okay, there's a disruption here. I hope it's not a crisis. These days in America and in Israel, any minute, anything can happen.
Ron is going to stay with us for a few minutes.
Hank, what would you like to hear, Hank? Yeah, I need more volume on this. Which? I have a request. Is it Dara? Jerusalem, I have a request for Jerusalem of Gold, okay? Avir harim tzalul kayayin vereach oranim Nisa beruach ha'arba'im im kol pa'amonim ובתרמת אילן ואבן שבויה בחלומה העיר אשר בדד יושבת ובליבה הומה. Can join me. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלא לכל שירייך אני תינוק. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלא לכל שירייך אני תינוק. My simple voice cannot acclaim thee, too weak the words I use. Jerusalem, if I forget thee, may my right hand its power lose. Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, forever young, forever old, my heart would sing your songs of glory, Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, Shel ולכל שירייך אני נור. All right, what else? I'm gonna sing song that made me popular in the 67 war called Sharm el-Sheikh. The road to, by the way, today, this week we're celebrating, not celebrating, but memorizing, thinking about the Yom Kippur War. This seems to be our heritage. The fight to live, surrounded by enemies, the threat of war every day and every night. גדול הוא הלילה ולך מחייך עברנו עם בוקר אל שארם א-שייח עברנו בלילה בים ובהר ובאנו עם בוקר אל תוך המצר עד שארם א-שייח חזרנו אלייך שנית עד בליבנו ליבנו תמיד. I walk in the darkness, my steps in the sand. I'm walking in silence, a soldier again. The tanks keep on moving, the cannon still roars, and some men are falling. There will be some more. Oh, Sharm el-Sheikh, you harbor of sand and of sea, you tell us why now, why this has to be. עולנו הבוקר בחוף אלמוגים עוברות שוב במים ספינות דייגים יורד לו הערב מביא עוד חלום מביא על המים תקווה לשלום עד שארם א-שייח חזרנו אלייך שנית על מליבנו ליבנו תמיד עד שארם א-שייח. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sing something to make, just to symbolize the time. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. One more time. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Sometimes I feel in the country. Sometimes I live downtown. Sometimes I get the notion to jump in the river and drown. Oh, Hank, you're such a nice person. Okay. Tried a beautiful dinner. I guess he was too big and too long. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword. Come and dance on stage, come on the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Whoa, ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. What else can we sing? Oh, I know. Let's do Do major. Michael rowed the boat ashore, hallelujah. Michael rowed the boat ashore, hallelujah. Sister helped to trim the sail, hallelujah. Sister helped to trim the sail, hallelujah. I could row the boat ashore, hallelujah. I could row the boat ashore, hallelujah. Children, the river is deep and cold, hallelujah. Okay, good night, everybody. Shalom Aleichem. Have peace. Shana Tova, happy good new year. Next year is going to be a better year, but Shana Haba'ah, which is the last song. Otire, 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 kama tov yeh, bashana, bashana haba'ah. Otire, otire, kama tov yeh, bashana, bashana haba'ah. I think that's how we're going to end, right? What else can farewell? I could use a drink now, yeah, because I don't have much competition here. נשב על המרפסת ונשבור ציפורים נודדות, ילדים בחופשה יצאו עלי תופסת בין הבית לבין הגנים. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. A big hand to my accompanist, the great piano player, Zvi Klein, such a bashful guy. Bashana Abba, I'm almost over now. That's the song we will sing, that's the wine we will drink, as we sing for the next year to come. Oh, that's the song we will sing, that's the dance we will drink, as we sing Shana Tova. La 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 Bashana Haba'ah. Hey, hoppa! Toda, thank you.